So you can see here when a user opens up this screen, we can see that we've got a dashboard here that's showing me information about email correspondences that have been captured today, AI-driven analytics. Has it gone into those document attachments if they've sent me forms, and how much time I've saved overall. Now, there's a couple different ways that I can navigate this. I can come right straight over to communications and see the details of what's been received in the context of an RFQ. I can also go over to the needs attention tab here, which is really going to show it to me in the context of what's my checklist of things that it's caught that really require my attention. Is there an RFQ that's coming up on its due date that I want to follow up on? We'll go ahead and start over there. So you can see here that this new RFQ up across the top, I have one that's been partially received here. Let's take a look at the details of that. So you can see in this particular situation, this is the RFQ we just created. We've got an email that came in from the supplier that mentions an attachment, but no attachment was found. So maybe they meant to attach something and they just didn't do it in this particular situation. I'm going to go ahead and click on the resolve button here because I can go ahead right from this tool and actually see exactly what they did send, an AI summary of what it interpreted, as well as just responding back to them. So I can do things like that. So I can see the AI summary here has said that an attachment was referenced, but it's actually missing from the email. If I want to see a verification of that, I can go over to the original email tab and I can see exactly what they sent back. So this is exactly what Todd responded back with. Always a pleasure to hear from you. Please see the attached quotation and any issues, let me know. But I don't see any document attachment here. So if I want to go ahead and respond back to this supplier, I'm going to go ahead and click new reply. And you can see I could do this in a number of different ways. So if I want to just send back a response to this supplier, I could say, hey, Todd, looks like we're missing the attachment, right? And I could format this however I want, right? But you can also see, and again, this is something that users in the world today are becoming much more familiar with, right? Tools that are going to help them with crafting a response or even a phrase of any kind. I can go ahead and just click the AI generate button here, and you'll see that it's actually going to build an email response for me. So you can see it says, thank you for the email. Hope you're doing well. Seems like the quote attachment was not included in your message, right? And I could have just done that from scratch. Now, the other thing that you can do here is I could make it shorter, longer, formal, more casual, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish here, right? So the idea being that, I'm trying to win my negotiation here. I'm trying to get the best cost possible from my supplier. If I want to do something like make that response a little bit longer, I can click that button and it'll go ahead and regenerate that email for me. If I want to make it a little bit more casual, a little more friendly, it'll go ahead and do that for me in a matter of seconds, right? Now, when I've crafted this response, it's ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and click on the send button and send that email now back to Todd, my supplier. Now, while we wait for Todd's response to come back to us, let's go ahead over to the communications tab here and we can see what all of the other suppliers have come back with. So you can see in this situation, we're still waiting for a response from ABC Metals, which was the one that my supplier Todd responded back with. I can see that currently we don't have any details in this grid view for either of the products that we asked for quotes on, but we do have them from the others. So let's take a look at how we got there. If we go over to this other supplier response, so this is Gecko Steel, they respond back, but in their original email, they responded back and said a very similar thing, like please see the attached quotation, right? Please see the attached quote. If I want to visualize that, I just click it and it opens up that attachment in another form. Now, AI, as you saw in the original response, it has parsed all of this information both in the body of the email and it's also read this document attachment for me. And it's taken out the relevant details and it's mapped it into those RFQ details for comparison. I can see in this particular case, this supplier responded back, with just a grid view of information. So you can see it's doing both. But at the end of the day, it's again putting that information into this comparative view for me. Now we can actually see that the status and the information, just in the matter of time we've been waiting, and we've got, again, an automated fictitious response coming back here to show you what the power of this tool is. Our supplier, Todd, who we responded back to, has now gotten back to us with some information, and it's gone ahead and brought that information into this grid view. If we want to see what they came back with, we can see that whole conversation chain. So this was the original email that was sent out to all of the suppliers. This was the email they responded back with. Again, remember that they said, please see the attached quotation, but they didn't actually include the document attachment. This was what I responded back with, right? And again, I crafted this message using AI. And now I can see what they came back with, right? So this is now the email. Oops, sorry about that. I've attached the quotation. Nothing again in the body of the email. Rather, it's an attachment that they've gone ahead and sent to us as well. All of this information, again, being interpreted by AI and being brought into the RFQ details tab here, which again, I can use for comparison's sake. Now, when I'm ready to make a decision here, I can see the pricing information, the lead time, and whatever best fits the need of my request from the supplier, and in turn, the sales order that we saw being entered in earlier. I can just go ahead and mark whatever I want to go ahead and confirm and accept to either lock in and commit that I'm going to go forward with that RFQ. And we can take it so far as basically turning that RFQ into a purchase order straight from this utility. So thank you for having a look today. Hopefully that's a great view of how we're leveraging AI really across the board to both within the application, but also to streamline communications with the different business partners that we work with on a day-to-day basis. Thank you.